The gallery walls gleamed white under track lighting, abstract paintings splashed with color against the sterile backdrop. Rain streaked the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seattle's waterfront. Maya Chen adjusted the sleeve of her burgundy silk blouse, tucked into high-waisted black trousers, her leather portfolio clutched against her ribs like a shield. She'd come here to celebrate her best friend's art exhibition, not to network. Not tonight. Maya. Lena Park waved from across the room, her emerald cocktail dress shimmering as she navigated through clusters of wine-sipping patrons. You made it. Maya forced a smile, exhaustion carved into her bones. 3 architectural projects. 2 sleepless weeks. A promotion that felt more like a prison sentence. Wouldn't miss it, Maya said, accepting Lena's hug. I need you to meet someone. Lena's grip tightened on Maya's wrist, pulling her toward a man standing alone near a bronze sculpture. He wore all black. Black dress shirt with sleeves rolled to his forearms, black slacks that fit like they were custom-made, a silver watch that caught the light. Dark hair pushed back, sharp cheekbones, eyes like polished obsidian. He studied the sculpture with unsettling focus, as if he could see through the metal to something underneath. This is my brother, Dominic. Maya's stomach clenched. She'd heard stories. Investment banker. Made millions off companies before they collapsed. A man who treated people like numbers on a spreadsheet. Dominic turned. His gaze locked onto hers with predatory precision. The architect who never sleeps, he said. His voice was low, controlled. Lena talks about you constantly. Maya extended her hand. His grip was firm, deliberate, sending an unwanted jolt up her arm. The banker who profits from failure, she countered, pulling back. She's mentioned you too. Something dangerous flickered in his expression. Not anger. Amusement. Direct. I appreciate that. I wasn't looking for your approval. Even better. Lena groaned, disappearing toward the bar, abandoning Maya in the crackling silence. So what brings you here? Dominic asked, stepping closer. The scent of cedar and something darker, rain-soaked pavement, maybe. Besides moral support for my sister? What makes you think there's another reason? Because you've checked your phone 4 times since we started talking. And you're standing like you'd rather be anywhere else. Maya's jaw tightened. Maybe I just don't enjoy small talk with strangers. We're not strangers. Lena's told me about your Riverside project. The sustainable housing initiative that got buried in red tape. Her breath caught. How do you know about that? I make it my business to know about things that matter. He tilted his head. You're talented, Maya. But talent doesn't mean anything if you're working for people who don't value it. And let me guess. You have a better offer? His smile was cold, calculated. I'm saying you're wasting your potential on people who will never see it. Heat flushed through her, anger mixed with something she refused to name. You don't know anything about me. I know you're brilliant. I know you're exhausted. And I know you're too stubborn to ask for help even when you're drowning. The words hit like a physical blow. Before she could respond, Dominic's phone vibrated. He glanced at the screen, and something changed in his face. Hardened. I have to take this. He stepped back, already moving toward the exit. It was enlightening, Maya Chen. He vanished into the rain-soaked night, leaving her standing there, heart pounding, hands trembling. Lena reappeared with 2 glasses of wine. So? What did you think? Maya stared at the door where Dominic had disappeared. I think your brother is the most infuriating person I've ever met. Lena grinned. That's exactly what he said about you. 3 days later, Maya's world imploded. Her phone rang at midnight. Her boss. Her firm's biggest investor had pulled out. The Riverside project was dead. Worse, they were blaming her for the failure, threatening to bury her reputation if she didn't walk away quietly. She sat in her apartment, surrounded by blueprints and broken dreams, when her phone buzzed again. A text from an unknown number. I heard what happened. Meet me tomorrow. 10 a.m. Pike Place. I can help. D. Maya stared at the message until her vision blurred. She typed back with shaking fingers. Why would you help me? The response came immediately. Because I don't like watching talented people get destroyed by cowards. And because you deserve better than what they're offering you. She should delete it. Block the number. Walk away. Instead, she typed one word. Where? Pike Place Market smelled like rain and fresh coffee, vendors calling out prices over the morning chaos. Maya stood near the original Starbucks, wearing her gray wool coat over a white turtleneck and dark jeans, hands buried in her pockets against the October cold. She'd barely slept. Her career was collapsing, and she was meeting the one man who made her feel like she was standing on the edge of a cliff. Dominic appeared through the crowd like a shadow given form. Black overcoat, charcoal sweater, the same calculating eyes that saw too much. He carried 2 paper cups, steam rising into the cool air. Coffee, he said, handing her one. Black. No sugar. Am I right? She took it without thanking him. How did you know about my project falling apart? I have connections. He gestured toward the waterfront. Walk with me. They moved through the market, past flower stalls exploding with dahlias and chrysanthemums, past fishmongers throwing salmon across ice-packed displays. The harbor stretched gray and endless beyond. Your firm threw you under the bus to save their own reputation, Dominic said. The investor didn't pull out because of your work. He pulled out because your boss made backroom deals that violated zoning regulations. They needed a scapegoat. Maya's blood turned cold. How do you know this? Because I'm the one who uncovered it. He stopped walking, turned to face her. I've been investigating your firm for 3 months. They're corrupt, Maya. And they were always going to sacrifice someone. Why tell me this? Because I'm offering you a way out. His voice dropped. I'm funding a new development project. Waterfront district. Sustainable architecture. Affordable housing mixed with commercial space. Everything you wanted to build with Riverside, but without the bureaucrats strangling your vision. It sounded too perfect. Too convenient. What's the catch? You work with me. Exclusively. For 6 months. Why me? Because you're the best architect in this city, and everyone's too afraid to admit it. Something raw flickered in his expression. And because I don't work with people I don't respect. The words settled between them like a challenge. I don't trust you, Maya said. Good. Trust is earned, not given. He held her gaze. But I'm offering you a chance to prove everyone wrong. To build something that matters. Are you brave enough to take it? Pride warred with desperation. She needed this. Needed to prove she wasn't the failure they wanted her to be. Fine. But I have conditions. His mouth curved. I'd expect nothing less. They worked for 3 weeks in Dominic's downtown office. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Elliott Bay, minimalist furniture, architectural models scattered across glass tables. Maya wore her usual uniform, structured blazers over silk shirts, tailored pants, her dark hair pulled into a tight bun that slowly loosened as the hours stretched past midnight. Dominic worked in shirt sleeves, his tie discarded by evening, intensity radiating from him like heat. He challenged every design choice, pushed her to think bigger, questioned her compromises. This retail space is too conservative, he said one night, stabbing a finger at her blueprint. It's practical, Maya shot back. Practical is code for boring. You're designing for a waterfront. Give people something they'll remember. Not everyone wants to live in a statement piece. Then why are you an architect? To build beige boxes that look like every other development? She slammed her pencil down. You're impossible. And you're settling for less than you're capable of. He moved closer, close enough that she could see gold flecks in his dark eyes. Stop playing it safe, Maya. You're better than that. The air between them hummed with tension that had nothing to do with architecture. Lena noticed during their Thursday dinner at her apartment. She poured wine, studying Maya with sisterly scrutiny. You're different, Lena said. Since you started working with Dominic. Maya stiffened. Different how? You're alive again. Like someone turned the lights back on. Lena leaned forward. What's happening between you two? Nothing. We're working together. That's all. Maya. I've known you for 7 years. You don't blush when you talk about work. I'm not blushing. Lena's smile was knowing. He talks about you too. When he calls. It's never about the project. It's always about something you said, something you designed, how you challenged him on some detail. Maya's heart hammered. Lena, he's your brother. I know. And I've never seen him like this about anyone. Lena's expression softened. Just be careful. Dominic doesn't let people in. And when he does, it's because they matter. A lot. That night, Maya returned to the office at 2 a.m. Couldn't sleep. Couldn't stop thinking about unfinished elevations. She found Dominic there, jacket abandoned, working by lamplight. Couldn't stay away, he asked without looking up. I had an idea for the rooftop garden. They worked in comfortable silence, the city sleeping around them. At some point, Dominic brought her tea. At another, she fixed an error in his calculations. The boundaries between them blurred. Why did you really help me? Maya asked suddenly. Dominic's hands stilled on his keyboard. When he looked at her, vulnerability cracked through his usual armor. Because 3 weeks ago, I watched someone defend their vision against a room full of people who wanted to tear it apart. She didn't back down. Didn't compromise. And I realized I'd never met anyone like her. His voice roughened. Someone who gave a damn about more than profit margins and safe investments. Someone real. Maya's breath caught. Before she could respond, Dominic's phone erupted with calls. His face went pale as he answered. When? He demanded into the phone. How bad? He stood abruptly, grabbing his jacket. I have to go. Family emergency. Is Lena okay? Yes. It's not her. His jaw clenched. I'll explain later. I promise. He was gone, leaving Maya alone with questions burning in her chest. Her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Ask Dominic about the Portland lawsuit. Ask him why he really needs your project finished by December. You're being used, Maya. He's not who you think he is. Ice flooded her veins. Dawn broke cold and gray over Seattle. Maya sat in her apartment, still wearing yesterday's clothes, a wrinkled cream blouse and black pants, staring at her laptop screen. She'd spent the night searching. Portland lawsuit. Dominic Park. December deadline. What she found made her stomach turn. Dominic's investment firm was being sued by Portland developers for fraudulent practices. He'd promised funding, then pulled out at the last minute, bankrupting 3 companies. The trial was scheduled for January. And he needed a successful project, something clean and impressive, to present to the court as evidence of legitimate business practices. Her waterfront project. Her design. Her reputation. He was using her. Her phone rang. Dominic. She let it go to voicemail. Then another call. Another. Finally, a text. Maya, please. Let me explain. It's not what you think. She threw her phone across the room. Lena called an hour later. Maya? Dominic said you won't answer his calls. What happened? Maya's voice cracked. Did you know? About Portland? About the lawsuit? Silence stretched too long. Lena. Did you know? I knew there was a lawsuit. I didn't know he was working with you because of it. Lena's voice broke. Maya, I swear. I would never have introduced you if I thought he'd hurt you. He used me. My work. My career. All of it was just ammunition for his court case. That's not true. Maya, you should see how he talks about you. This isn't just business for him anymore. I don't care what it became. I care what it started as. Tears burned her eyes. I trusted him. Then give him a chance to explain. I can't. She hung up. For 2 days, Maya ignored everyone. Dominic's calls. Lena's texts. She buried herself in work, taking freelance contracts, anything to avoid thinking about the man who'd made her feel alive again, only to prove she was just another asset to be leveraged. On the 3rd day, Dominic appeared at her apartment door. He looked wrecked. Same black clothes, but wrinkled now, shadows carved under his eyes. Rain dripped from his coat. You blocked my number, he said. You lied to me. I never lied. You used me. Her voice shattered. My project was never about sustainable housing or giving me a second chance. It was about saving your reputation in court. It started that way. He stepped inside without invitation, desperation radiating from him. Yes. I needed a clean project to present to the judge. But Maya, that stopped mattering weeks ago. When? When did it stop mattering? When you got what you needed from me? When I realized I was falling in love with you. The words hung in the air like a gunshot. Maya's breath stopped. No, she whispered. You don't get to say that now. It's the truth. He moved closer. The Portland lawsuit, those developers were corrupt. They were laundering money through construction projects. I pulled funding because I uncovered evidence they were involved with organized crime. The lawsuit is retaliation, Maya. I'm being framed for doing the right thing. Then why didn't you tell me? Because I was a coward. His voice broke. Because I was afraid if you knew the real reason I approached you, you'd never give me a chance. And I needed you to see me first. Not the real anymore. Lawsuit. Not my reputation. Just me. I don't know what's. This is real. He reached for her hand. She pulled back. The way you challenged me. The way we worked together. The way I couldn't stop thinking about you even when you were standing right in front of me. That was never part of any plan. Maya's walls cracked. How do I trust you again? You don't. Not right away. His eyes burned into hers. But let me prove it. Let me show you every file, every document, every piece of evidence. Let me earn back what I broke. She wanted to believe him. Wanted it so badly it terrified her. I need time. Take all the time you need. He moved toward the door, then stopped. But Maya? Everything I said that night in the office? I meant it. You're the most extraordinary person I've ever met. And I will spend however long it takes proving I deserve a second chance. He left, leaving her shaking. She called Lena. He told you, Lena said. Is it true? About Portland? Every word. I've seen the evidence, Maya. He was trying to protect people, and it blew up in his face. Lena paused. He's not perfect. But he's not a monster either. He's just a man who made a mistake because he was too afraid to lose you. That night, Maya reviewed the files Dominic sent. Police reports. Financial records. Testimony from federal investigators confirming organized crime involvement. He'd been telling the truth. But the damage was already done. Her phone rang at 3 a.m. Unknown number. Miss Chen. A woman's voice, professional, cold. This is Detective Sarah Morrison with Seattle PD. We need you to come to the station. It's about Dominic Park. Maya's world tilted. What happened? There's been an incident. He's been arrested for fraud and racketeering. He listed you as his business partner. We need to ask you some questions about your involvement in his financial activities. The room spun. I'm not his partner. I'm just his architect. That's what we need to clarify. Can you come in? Maya grabbed her coat with trembling hands, her gray wool coat over her nightclothes. At the station, under fluorescent lights that made everything look sick, Detective Morrison laid out documents. Financial transfers. Shell companies. Her name attached to accounts she'd never opened. Someone's framing him, Maya said. And now they're framing me too. That's what he claims. The detective leaned forward. But the evidence suggests you've been helping him hide assets. Unless you can prove otherwise, you're both going down for this. Maya's vision blurred. Her phone buzzed. A text from the same unknown number as before. Walk away now. Testify against him, and all charges disappear. Protect him, and you lose everything. Choose wisely. Her hands shook as she read it again. The interrogation room smelled like stale coffee and desperation. Maya sat across from Detective Morrison, still wearing her gray coat over flannel pajama pants and a tank top, her hair falling loose around her shoulders. Morning light bled through the single window, harsh and unforgiving. Walk me through your relationship with Mr. Park again, Morrison said, tapping her pen against a thick folder. I already told you. He hired me to design a waterfront development. That's it. These bank transfers suggest otherwise. Morrison slid papers across the metal table. $200,000 moved through accounts with your name on them. Care to explain? Maya's stomach dropped. Those accounts don't exist. I never opened anything with Dominic except a professional contract. Then how did your social security number end up attached to them? I don't know. Her voice cracked. But someone is setting us both up. Morrison studied her with cop eyes that had seen every lie. Or you're both very good at playing victim. The door opened. A man in an expensive suit entered, carrying a briefcase. Salt and pepper hair, sharp features, everything about him screamed power. Interview's over, he said. I'm Marcus Webb, Miss Chen's attorney. My client won't be answering any more questions without proper representation present. I didn't call a lawyer, Maya said. Mr. Park did. Before they arrested him. Webb pulled out a chair, sat down with practiced authority. Detective, unless you're charging my client, she's leaving. Morrison's jaw tightened. We'll be in touch. Outside, rain hammered the sidewalk. Webb opened an umbrella, gestured toward a black car. Get in. We need to talk. Inside the warm interior, Maya's hands wouldn't stop shaking. How bad is it? She asked. Bad. Whoever's framing you both did their homework. They've created a paper trail suggesting you and Dominic have been moving money through shell corporations for months. Webb pulled out a tablet. But there's good news. The trail is too clean. Too perfect. Which means it's fabricated. Can you prove that? Working on it. But Maya, I need to know something. His eyes sharpened. Do you trust Dominic Park? The question landed like a physical blow. I don't know anymore. That's not good enough. Because in 48 hours, they're offering you a deal. Testify against him, walk away clean. Protect him, and you're both going to prison. Webb leaned forward. So I need you to decide. Right now. Who is Dominic Park to you? Maya closed her eyes. Saw him in lamplight, challenging her designs. Heard his voice breaking as he confessed falling in love. Felt the way her heart raced whenever he walked into a room. He's someone I need to hear the truth from. Directly. Webb nodded. I'll arrange it. They let her see Dominic in a private room at the detention center. He sat at a metal table, wearing an orange jumpsuit that made him look smaller, more human. His hair was disheveled, bruises shadowing his eyes from exhaustion. When he saw her, something cracked in his expression. You came. Maya sat down across from him, glass partition between them, phones connecting their voices. Tell me everything, she said. No more secrets. No more half-truths. I need to know who I'm defending. Dominic's hands clenched. The Portland developers I exposed? They're connected to a man named Victor Reeves. He's been running a construction empire built on fraud and intimidation for 20 years. When I pulled my funding and went to federal investigators, I became a target. Why didn't you tell me this before? Because I was trying to protect you. His voice broke. If Reeves knew you were working with me, you'd become a target too. And I couldn't risk that. Well, it didn't work. I'm a target anyway. I know. And I will never forgive myself for that. He pressed his palm against the glass. Maya, everything they're accusing us of? Reeves fabricated it. He's got people in city government, in law enforcement. He's been planning this since I first exposed him. How do we prove it? I have evidence. Financial records, recordings, emails. Everything I collected for the federal case. His eyes burned into hers. But it's hidden. And the only person who knows where it is besides me is someone Reeves can't touch. Who? You. Maya's breath stopped. What are you talking about? Remember that encrypted drive I gave you 3 weeks ago? The one I said contained backup project files? Her mind raced back. The small black drive he'd handed her casually one evening, telling her to keep it safe. You hid evidence on that drive? Yes. And if Reeves knew you had it, you'd already be dead. His voice dropped. That drive contains everything the FBI needs to bring him down. Account numbers, shell company registries, communications proving he ordered the hits on 2 whistleblowers last year. Maya's world tilted. You put me in the middle of this without telling me. I had no choice. Everyone else around me is either compromised or in danger. You were the only person I trusted completely. He leaned closer to the glass. I know I don't deserve your help. I know I've destroyed any right to ask anything of you. But Maya, if we don't stop Reeves, he'll bury us both. And he'll keep destroying lives. The weight of it crushed her. What do you need me to do? Give the drive to Marcus Webb. He has FBI contacts who can verify the files and build a case. Dominic's expression fractured. But Maya, once you do this, there's no going back. Reeves will know you helped. You'll need witness protection. You'll have to leave Seattle. Leave everything. What about you? I'm already gone. Whether I'm in prison or witness protection, my life here is over. Tears burned her eyes. This is the sacrifice, isn't it? Everything I've built. My career. My home. All of it gone because I chose to trust you. I never wanted this for you. His voice shattered. If I could go back, if I could change how this started, I would. But I can't. All I can do is tell you that falling in love with you was the most real thing that's ever happened to me. And I will spend the rest of my life regretting that it cost you everything. Maya stood, phone still pressed to her ear. I need to think. Maya, wait. She hung up the phone, walked out of the detention center into rain that soaked through her coat. Lena was waiting outside, umbrella in hand, wearing a navy pea coat over jeans, mascara smudged from crying. I heard, Lena said. About the drive. About everything. Did you know? Maya asked. Not until today. Dominic called me an hour ago. Told me the truth. Lena grabbed Maya's hands. I'm so sorry. For all of it. For introducing you. For not seeing what was happening. It's not your fault. What are you going to do? Maya stared at the detention center, at the rain, at the city that would soon be just a memory. I'm going to save him. Even if it destroys me. Why? Because he would do the same for me. And because love means choosing someone even when it costs everything. That night, Maya met Marcus Webb in a parking garage. Handed him the encrypted drive with shaking hands. You understand what this means? Webb asked. I understand. You'll have to testify. You'll be under protection until the trial. After that, new identity, new city. I know. Webb studied her. For what it's worth, he loves you. I've represented hundreds of clients. I can always tell when someone's lying. He's not lying about that. Maya nodded, unable to speak. Her phone buzzed. Another message from the unknown number. You made the wrong choice. Now you'll both pay. Red and blue lights flooded the garage. FBI. Voices shouted. Nobody move. Webb shoved the drive into Maya's coat pocket. Run. Now. They're not FBI. Reeves got to them. Maya ran. Maya's lungs burned as she sprinted through rain-slicked alleyways, the encrypted drive a lead weight in her coat pocket. Behind her, footsteps echoed, shouts cutting through the downpour. Not police. Hunters. She ducked into an abandoned warehouse, pressed against rusted metal, gasping for air. Her phone buzzed. Real FBI this time. Webb had gotten through. Miss Chen, this is Agent Torres. Marcus Webb contacted us. Where are you? She gave her location through chattering teeth. Wore the same gray coat, now soaked through, over clothes that clung like ice to her skin. Her hair plastered to her face. Stay hidden. We're 5 minutes out. But 5 minutes was an eternity. Footsteps approached. A man's voice, cold and amused. Miss Chen. Let's be reasonable. Give us the drive, and you can walk away. Disappear. We'll forget you ever existed. She recognized that voice from the threatening messages. Victor Reeves himself. I'd rather die than help you, she called out. That can be arranged. Gunshots shattered the silence. Maya ran deeper into the warehouse, through shadows and broken machinery, her architect's mind mapping exits, escape routes, structural weaknesses. More shots. One grazed her shoulder, white-hot pain erupting. She stumbled, caught herself, kept moving. Sirens wailed outside. Real ones this time. FBI. Drop your weapons. The gunfire stopped. Reeves cursed. Footsteps retreating. Agent Torres found Maya collapsed behind a shipping container, bleeding, clutching the drive like a lifeline. I've got you, Torres said. You're safe now. But Maya knew safety was an illusion. 2 weeks later, she stood in a federal courtroom wearing a borrowed navy dress and blazer, her wounded shoulder bandaged beneath. Dominic sat at the defense table in a dark suit, looking like he hadn't slept since the arrest. Their eyes met across the room. Held. Everything they couldn't say lived in that look. Maya testified for 3 hours. Detailed how Reeves had framed them. How Dominic had been trying to expose corruption. How the encrypted drive contained evidence that would dismantle a criminal empire. The prosecution played recordings. Showed financial documents. Built a case so airtight that Reeves's expensive lawyers couldn't punch through. When the jury returned guilty verdicts on all counts, relief should have flooded her. Instead, Maya felt hollow. Because freedom came with a price. Outside the courthouse, Agent Torres handed her an envelope. Your new identity. Relocation details. You leave tomorrow. What about Dominic? Different city. Different name. You won't see each other again. Those are the terms of witness protection. Maya's heart shattered. She found Dominic on the courthouse steps, surrounded by reporters and cameras. When he saw her, he extracted himself, met her in the shadow of a stone column. You saved my life, he said. We saved each other. Torres told you. About the separation. Maya nodded, unable to speak. I need you to know something. Dominic reached for her hand. She let him take it. These past months with you were the only time I've ever felt like my life meant something beyond money and deals and winning. You made me want to be better. To build things that lasted. To care about more than survival. Tears streaked her face. I love you. I didn't want to. I fought it. But I love you. I love you too. So much that I need you to walk away from this. Build a new life somewhere beautiful. Design buildings that make people feel hope. Be everything you were always meant to be. What about us? There is no us. Not in any world where we both survive. His voice cracked. But Maya, in whatever life you live next, know that somewhere, I'm thinking about you. Wondering if you're happy. Hoping you found someone who deserves you more than I ever did. Don't. Her hands fisted in his suit jacket. Don't talk like this is goodbye forever. It has to be. He pressed his forehead to hers. Because if I don't let you go now, I never will. And you deserve more than a life spent hiding. He kissed her then. Desperate, fierce, tasting like salt and rain and endings. When he pulled away, Maya memorized everything. The gold flecks in his dark eyes. The way his jaw clenched when he was trying not to break. The warmth of his hands against her face. I'll find you, she whispered. Someday. When it's safe. I'll find you. I'll be waiting. He walked away, disappearing into the crowd, into a future where they didn't exist for each other. Lena found Maya standing alone, rain beginning to fall again. I'm sorry, Lena said, pulling her into a hug. For all of it. It's not your fault. Will you tell me where you're going? I can't. You know that. Lena pressed something into Maya's hand. A small photograph. The three of them at the gallery opening. Before everything fell apart. So you remember. That love existed. That it was real. Maya clutched the photo like a talisman. 3 years later. Portland's waterfront gleamed under summer sun. Maya stood on the rooftop garden of her latest project, a sustainable housing complex that had won national awards. She wore a white linen shirt tucked into olive green pants, her hair longer now, streaked with lighter tones from spending time outdoors. Her new name felt natural. Her new life felt earned. But some part of her still lived in Seattle. In rain-soaked nights and impossible choices. In the man who taught her that love meant sacrifice. Miss Rivera? Her assistant called from the stairs. Someone's here to see you about the Seattle collaboration project. Maya turned. A man emerged onto the rooftop. Tall, wearing dark jeans and a gray Henley, beard shadowing his jaw now. But those eyes. Those obsidian eyes she'd memorized. "Hello," he said. Voice deeper, rougher. "I'm James. I'm told you're the architect who believes buildings should have souls." Maya's breath stopped. Not Dominic. Someone new. Someone shaped by the same fire but forged into something different. "I am," she managed. "Good." He stepped closer, and she saw it. Recognition. Memory. Love that had survived witness protection and new identities and 3 years of absence. "Because I'm looking for someone to design a building that tells a story. About two people who lost everything and found each other again." Tears blurred her vision. What kind of story? The kind with a happy ending. His smile was dangerous, familiar, perfect. "If you're interested." Maya crossed the distance between them, took his hand. "I'm very interested." Around them, Portland stretched vast and promising. Behind them, Seattle lived in memory. Between them, 3 years of silence shattered. Sometimes sacrifice doesn't mean losing everything. Sometimes it means losing everything except what matters most. And sometimes, if you're brave enough and lucky enough and love fiercely enough, you get a second chance to choose differently. Maya kissed him there on the rooftop, surrounded by gardens she'd designed and a future she'd earned. "I found you," she whispered against his mouth. "I told you I'd be waiting." The end.